Hi guys, Dr. Chloe Costigan here. I am here for part 2 of what I'm calling Fix Your Foot. The first video we focused on improving your foot flexibility as well as your calf. So we worked from the calf through the foot, through the big toe. We are trying to correct our mechanics, right? So this is the way that we move. The thing is that we first need to improve flexibility, then we can improve stability and strength. So we're moving on to stability and strength. I'm going to show you guys 3 different exercises today that are going to help to improve the strength of your foot, but then also in some surprising ways, we're going to focus on the strength of the entire lower leg that will reinforce some of our mechanics, right? So some of the way that we move. So these 3 different exercises should be done in progression because they get slightly more challenging in different ways. The thing that I want you guys to focus on is your quality of movement. You become a better mover when you focus on how you're moving. It's not a matter of just doing sets of 10 of these exercises and everything's gonna follow. I want you guys to be really mindful of how your foot is positioned, what muscles you're activating, and also what the left side is like versus the right side. That's what's gonna help to give us a little bit of an idea as to what our asymmetries are and what kind of things we need to focus on. Let's get started. For the Archdomes, I'm going to focus on pressing through through my big toe, through my pinky side of my foot, and my heel. This is what we're trying to lift, is we're trying to lift this arch, okay? So I tend to stand, especially on this left side, with this arch kind of collapsed in. So then I'm gonna try to pull that up, pressing through my toes without curling my toes, okay? So I'm not curling my toes. I'm just trying to press through those toes and then just come back to neutral. So I'm not letting myself collapse. I'm not collapsing my knees in. I'm just coming back to neutral. Then I'm just gonna pull up slightly and then back down. Pull up slightly and come back down. Sometimes the thing that's helpful for people is for them to think about placing their heel kind of underneath them a little bit more, because if your heel kind of splays out to the side like this, it's going to be really hard to do that Archdome. So what I try to say is, okay, as much as you can, try to like position yourself almost like you're sliding your foot. You're sliding your foot out to the side so you can kind of tuck that heel underneath you like this. So that's your setup. So then even if you do tend to be like this, then when you do that Archdome, you're not rolling to the outside of your foot because you need to maintain that pressure through your big toe without curling. But it's like you're trying to bring from the outer edge of this calcaneus of the heel is going to come underneath you like this, okay? That's what we're looking for. Then from the inside here, you can see here I'm collapsed and I'm trying to lift up through that arch and then come back to neutral. Lift up to that arch, come back to neutral. But I'm not curling my toes as I do that. So I'm not doing this, not just rolling to the outside of my foot. For the push-off heel raises, we're going to focus on improving some of our mechanics during push-off when we're walking or running. So you'll need something you can lean against. Now, before we even start, let's focus on the position that our leg is in. So my hip is extended, so it's not back like this, okay? My hip is extended. My toes are pointing forward. My heel is pointing forward. The thing that I'm thinking about doing is also lifting my arch. So my arch isn't collapsing down. That's why we did the Archdomes. So I'm making contact though with my big toe, the pinky edge side of my foot, and my heel. Then I'm gonna lean forward, I'm extending my hip, and then I'm gonna push up onto my toes, and then I'm gonna slowly lower down. That entire time I'm trying to make contact with my big toe, with the pinky edge side of my foot, and then coming back down on my heel. Every time that I go to land, I'm making sure that my heel isn't collapsing in. So I'm not coming out to the side, and I'm not coming in or turning my foot out. So this is a no, and this is a no. I want to try to keep this in line. So from my big toe to my heel to my leg. For the split squats, the setup position is really important. So for this back leg, I'm making sure that I'm able to push off from that big toe, okay? So what will happen a lot of times is people will kind of turn their foot out as they do the split squats, you want to make sure that that big toe is pointing forward and that your pelvis is pointing forward. The other thing is that I'm making sure that that heel isn't coming out to the side. From here, what I see people do is they'll do this, especially if their big toe flexibility is limited, or they'll do this. They're rolling to the outside. I want you to try to maintain as much of a neutral position as possible. So I'm gonna squat down and then come up. Every time that I go to come up, what I'm doing is I'm extending my knee and pushing back through my heel. So this is what's going to be helpful too with making sure that you're getting that push off when you're walking or running. You're going to do 3 rounds of these 3 exercises. You're going to do 10 Archdomes on each side. You're going to do 10 push-off heel raises and 10 split squats on each side. Guys, remember the success of doing this strengthening is contingent on having enough flexibility. So make sure you work on that flexibility through your calf and foot and toe. You might even want to do this just before doing the strengthening. That's what I like to do to make sure that my whole foot is prepped, especially because my left side is my more problematic side. Notice that I was demoing on my right side and not my left side. Need to do a little bit more work on that left side. Do this 3 times a week and it's going to make a really big difference. I actually really like to do this before I do any type of speed work, or actually even just before a long run, because it's already going to teach my brain exactly how it is I'm supposed to move. True flexibility and strength work means that you are changing the way your body moves, right? You're providing a stimulus and then you're going to teach your body how to move more efficiently. So that's why it's really important to pay attention to exactly how you're moving, so then you get the most out of this. You can be pain-free and enjoy that run. If you like this, comment below. I always love hearing your guys' feedback because it helps me to be better as well. So your feedback is always really helpful. Please share with a friend too.